I hope that everybody had a Rosh Hashanah where HaKadosh Baruch Hu answered all your tefillos to a greater extent than you could imagine. There are certain moments on our calendar that awakens even the smallest of sparks of the Jew. My cousin Rabbi Aryeh Leibowitz Shlita told a story this week about Jeff Schwartz, an offensive lineman for the New York Giants, who announced that he was going to fast on Yom Kippur a number of years ago, even though Yom Kippur was game day. It was a Sandy Koufax moment. That even though the article describes how Jeff, on a normal morning, would eat cheese omelets with turkey sausage, but at the same time, he was going to fast for Yom Kippur. We know that generally speaking, and of course we're still waiting to see what this year holds, as this year will be a little bit different than all other years, but generally, Jews from all walks of Judaism, no matter how traditional one is the rest of the year, all manage to find a way to come to Kol Nidre night, the night of Yom Kippur. The question is that there are many sins that people might do. Why is it that we start the holiest day of the year, and why is that the most appealing to everybody with the tefillah of Kol Nidre? That is not a plea to God to forgive us for all the sins that we've committed, but rather it's a request to nullify any vow that we may have made. On top of that, just last week, many of us already said Hatarat Nedarim, which freed us from any vow that we would have. So why the stress on nullifying vows? I wonder if the explanation could be that really on Yom Kippur, yes, we're regretting things of the past, but at the same time, part of the tshuva process is Kabbalah La'atid, is that we have to make a commitment to the future, that we are not only not going to violate any sins anymore, but that maybe we will dedicate our priorities, our definition of who we want to be, in line with the life that God knows that we're capable of living. That we make a commitment to adding holiness to the world instead of seeking self-pleasure. When Hashem is listening to us, or maybe when we are listening to ourselves, commit and pledge and resolve towards certain changes, so the question is whether that's authentic or not. Can we be believed? Can we be trusted? So we start Yom Kippur by saying, Kol Nidre. Hashem, I've tried my hardest to keep my word and to live up to what I promised. I might not have been successful, but one idea, one sin that I don't want within my bank account as we head into Yom Kippur is unfulfilled vows. Because as I pledge, if I have unfulfilled vows, so then God might say, well, listen, these are all nice, and these would be really attractive commitments, but look, in general, you're a person who doesn't follow through on what they commit. So we get rid of all our commitments. We say, whatever I've done up till now, I might have tried my hardest, I might not have tried my hardest. But let's forget about those. Let's start fresh. Let's start new. Commitments without a background of not following through. This week, Rabbi Binyamin Samuels, he should live long and be well and have a lot of nachas from his children, told me a beautiful idea. The Rambam writes in his explanation of how one gains forgiveness. Does Yom Kippur forgive? Does Misa, does death forgive? Do Yisurim, challenges, forgive? The Rambam writes that there's a difference between the type of sin that you're doing. There are two levels. There are chamuros and there are kalos. There are serious sins and there are light sins. What are the serious sins? So anything that carries with it the death penalty, so you know that is a serious sin. Serious punishment means there was a serious violation. Everything else is a kalos. There are very few exceptions to that rule, except in the category of chamuros, along with all the death penalty and kares penalty sins, is shvuah shav and shvuah sheker. Why are those sins there? Perhaps the Rambam is telling us that for a Jew, the significance of being genuine, authentic, and trustworthy. That if we are somebody that has shvuah sheker, shvuah shav, false swearings on our docket, that's something that we do, so then that's chamuros. That is a severe infringement on who we are and our ability to do avodas Hashem and to be defined as people who love God. Not being genuine, not being truthful, that's antithetical to who Hashem is. That's chamuros. That's tantamount to death. So as we head to Yom Kippur, and we consider what our upcoming year is going to look like, both in what's going to happen to us and what we are going to make happen, and we consider what resolutions we want to make, let's not forget that the Ikar, Hashem's seal is emes, Hashem's life is emes, Hashem's identity is emes. So if we want to model Him, if we want to replicate, copy who Hashem is, if we want to turn ourselves into a human version of godliness, so emes needs to be a part of that. Authenticity needs to be a part of that. Maybe taking time to look in the mirror and to see what we're all about, that should be part of it. That Hashem gives us the strength this Yom Kippur to do something that is so hard, and that is to be truthful to ourselves about who we are, what our priorities are, and where we're headed in life. And with that, perhaps, with that authenticity, perhaps we can get as close to the image of God as we possibly can. Have a great Shabbos and a Gemar Chasima Tova.